the forgotten manure layer that supercharges spring. Most gardeners, wait until spring to feed their soil. And that's exactly why their plants struggle early on. By the time you're adding compost or manure in spring, you're already late. The soil is still cold, microbial activity is slow, and nutrients aren't available when plants need them most. That delay, unfortunately, shows up as weak seedlings, slow growth, and inconsistent yields that never quite recover. The real mistake isn't what you're adding, it's when and where you're adding it. One small shift that helped me fix this started before anything even reached the garden. I began controlling how organic material broke down, using a sealed container like the Enloy countertop compost bucket with charcoal filters. It prevents that wet, oxygen-starved decomposition that ruins nutrient quality before it ever gets to your soil. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. It solves a small problem, but it directly affects how effective your manure and compost become later. Now here's what most gardeners have never been taught. The real power of manure isn't on the surface, it's below it. Most people spread manure on top of the soil, or mix it in lightly right before planting. That approach is convenient, but it's inefficient. Nutrients sit too close to the surface, where they're exposed to temperature swings, evaporation and runoff. Microbial activity at that level is inconsistent, especially in early spring. What traditional growers understood, and what most modern gardeners ignore, is the power of a buried manure layer. Not deep enough to suffocate it, but not shallow enough to lose its effect. The forgotten manure layer sits exactly where roots need it later. Instead of applying manure on top, I place it about 10 to 20 centimeters below the soil surface before winter ends, or just as conditions begin to shift. That depth matters. It keeps the manure in a zone where moisture is stable, temperatures fluctuate less, and microbial life can stay active earlier in the season. By the time roots grow downward in spring, they reach a nutrient-rich layer that's already partially broken down and ready to support rapid growth. This changes the entire early season dynamic. Why this works when surface feeding fails? Surface-applied manure depends on topsoil conditions warming up before it becomes active, but deeper layers warm more slowly and retain heat longer once they do. That creates a more stable environment for microbial processes. In my raised beds, I've tested this directly. One section with surface-applied manure, another with a buried layer. So the buried section consistently produces faster early growth. You'll notice that plants establish stronger and don't show the usual slow start that, honestly, many gardeners just accept as normal. It's not about adding more, it's about positioning it correctly. Here's the mistake that turns this method into a problem. Burying manure sounds simple, but there's a critical detail most people miss. If the manure isn't properly prepared, you create a hotspot that can damage roots. Fresh manure or poorly cured manure can release too much ammonia and heat in a concentrated area. That's where people run into problems and assume the method doesn't work. What actually works is using semi-cured manure, material that's begun breaking down but still has active microbial life. This gives you the benefits of nutrient release without the risks of instability. So, here's how I layer manure for consistent results. In practical terms, I dig shallow trenches or remove a top layer of soil about 10 to 20 centimeters deep. Then I place a layer of prepared manure, usually around 3 to 5 centimeters thick, and lightly mix it with carbon materials like dry leaves or straw. That mix matters. It prevents compaction, balances moisture, and keeps the environment aerobic. Then I cover it back up and apply mulch on top. Once it's in place, I leave it alone. No constant turning, no disturbance. The system does the work. Why timing makes or breaks this method? This isn't something you do the day before planting. The best results come when the manure layer is established weeks or even months before active planting begins. That gives time for initial breakdown and stabilization. In my climate, I set this up toward the end of the cooler season, just before temperatures begin to rise. By the time planting starts, the layer is already active and ready to support root growth. If you wait until spring, you lose that advantage. What happens underground is something most people never see. Once the manure layer is in place, microbial activity begins working through it slowly. Fungi connect it to the surrounding soil, and bacteria start breaking down organic matter into plant-available nutrients. Moisture is held more consistently in that zone, creating an environment roots naturally grow toward. From the surface, it might look like nothing is happening, but below, the system is preparing for growth long before seeds even go in. That's why, results show up early and consistently. This method really changes how roots behave. When nutrients are concentrated deeper in the soil, roots grow differently. Instead of spreading out shallowly, they push downward to access that layer. That creates stronger plants. Deeper roots mean better access to water, more stable growth, and improved resilience to temperature changes. In one of my test beds, crops grown over a manure layer developed noticeably thicker stems and more consistent leaf growth compared to surface-fed plants. The difference isn't subtle once you see it. It works in containers too, with just a slight adjustment. I place a thin layer of prepared manure about 5 to 8 centimeters below the surface, depending on the container size. Then I cover it with soil and add mulch. The principle stays the same. Nutrients below, roots above, gradual integration. Even in smaller systems, this improves early growth and reduces the need for frequent feeding. Even hydroponic growers, honestly, can learn from this approach. At first, this might seem a bit unrelated to hydroponics, but the underlying concept still applies. It's about timing and placement. In hydro systems, you control when and how nutrients are available. When you stabilize that delivery, plants perform better with less adjustment. The manure layer does something similar in soil. It creates a controlled nutrient zone that plants access when they need it. Different system, same logic. Now, the biggest misconception that holds people back: most gardeners think more inputs equal better results. More manure, more compost, more fertilizer. But without proper timing and placement, those inputs don't perform at their full potential. This method doesn't require more material, it just requires better positioning. And that's exactly what makes it so effective. If you're serious about improving your results, this is the kind of shift that really matters. Subscribe if you want more practical methods like this, tested in real conditions, not just theory. What changes when you get this right? Spring becomes easier, plants establish faster, soil warms more evenly, and you're not scrambling to fix slow growth. Instead of reacting to problems, you're starting with an advantage. That's the difference between average and consistent results. Bringing it all together, the forgotten manure layer isn't complicated, it's just been overlooked. By placing nutrients where they'll be needed later, preparing them properly, and giving them time to stabilize, you create a system that works ahead of your plants instead of catching up to them. And once you see how much faster and stronger your spring growth becomes, it's hard to go back to surface feeding alone. If you know someone who struggles with slow starts every growing season, share this with them. Because once you understand how to position nutrients correctly in your soil, you stop chasing growth and start building it before the season even begins. And that's where real reliable harvests come from.